Thanks for coming to spend some time with me today. And today's going to be extra fun because we're going to make our very own canteen. Are you psyched? I sure am. A canteen is important because it allows us to carry and store safe water that we're able to find or produce. Come on in a little closer and we'll get going. All right, this is going to be fun. Now I'm going to do up this canteen a certain way, and you can do it the same way too. Or you can use available materials and your mad new sewing skills and use your imagination to make a design of your own. Now the first thing that we're going to need is a really good bottle. I think the sports drink bottles are the best because they're bigger than the average water bottle, they're a lot stouter than the average water bottle, and they've got a really good size screw cap. But you can use any bottle that you want to. I've also got the sewing kit from my survival kit, a piece of old rope that I'm going to use for a strap, and our old friend, our Swiss Army knife. Just like our last video, I'm using a big thread and a big needle so you can see. Do you remember this handy tool? Do you remember how to use it? Well, if you don't, it's okay. I'm going to show you one more time, just to make sure. Do you remember how we put the wire of the tool through the eye of the needle? We get ourselves our thread, put it through the loop in the wire, pull ourselves out a little bit of slack, and then pull the thread through the eye of the needle. And there we go. Your needle is threaded. Here's just a reminder how we tie a knot at the end of our thread and make sure that we have a little loop at the end. That's important as our sewing skills get more complex. Now, as you can see, I've got the sweaty pants leg cut just a little longer than the length of the bottle. Make sure you ask the adults in your life if it's okay before you go cutting up a pair of sweaty pants or any other piece of clothing. Do you remember from last time the best place to start sewing? That's right, at the beginning. In this case, the beginning could be at either side. I'm going to start on this side with our first stitch. Pinch the ends together. Remember to keep the pokey parts of the needle going away from our body. Poke the needle through and pull the thread until the knot stops it. I'll make my second stitch a little farther along. Do you remember how many stitches before we do our lock? That's right, 3. So we'll do our third stitch. Leave a little loop. Pass the needle through the loop and pull it nice and tight. I'll show you again so you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh, I did an extra one. Remember what we said last time? It really doesn't matter, so long as you get a lock stitch in there somewhere. I'll just put my needle through this loop, pull it nice and tight, and start stitching again. I jumped ahead a little bit and got all the way to the end. Remember to finish out, make yourself 2 lock stitches so that this is extra secure. Do you remember our rope from earlier? Well, that's what we're going to use for our strap. The first thing that we're going to want to do is cut the rope to size using our Swiss Army knife. Remember to cut away from your body the way I always show you. The rope should be 3 lengths long. How long is a length? A length is the distance between the middle of your chest and the end of your arm. This is how you measure it. You see how I've tied a knot so that I have just one great big loop. You may need some help from the adults in your life to tie a knot like this, but keep on trying and you'll get it. As you can see here, we've laid the rope across the stitch that we just made. Now we're going to amp up our sewing skills a little bit and secure one thing to another thing. As always, we start at the beginning and we start at one corner, keeping the pokey parts away from our body. We're going to do 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 3 stitches, and then a lock, and 1 more lock, and we're all done. I jumped ahead again and did 3 stitches and a lock here on either side of the knot and over here on this corner. That secures this rope to the bottom of the canteen cover. The next thing that we want to do is turn this whole thing right side out. Look at that. We've got a spiffy little bag with a strap on it. Check out what I did here. I pulled the rope to the end of the opening of the bag, pinched it off, and secured it using 3 stitches and a lock, just like I showed you before. This will help keep the strap in one spot. Look at that! I put the bottle in our canteen cover, and now our canteen is really starting to shape up. There's only one more thing to do, and that's to secure the cap to the canteen so that we don't lose it. The cap is very important because that keeps our water in the canteen, and it also keeps our clean water clean. Have the adults in your life help you put a small hole in the top of the cap. Well, hey, T-Rex, can't we use our Swiss Army knife for that? That's a big tactical no. We don't ever drill a hole with a folding knife because that blade can fold back on our hands and cut us very badly. Next, we want to take our piece of string and put it through the hole in the cap, pull it out the other end, and put a knot in it, just the same way we do when we're sewing. Pull the string back tight and secure the string with a knot to the side of the strap that we just made. If you need help with these knots at first, that's okay. With practice, we can do anything. Pull it nice and tight. You can cut off the excess with your Swiss Army knife. Just make sure that you cut away from your body. Whoa, just look at that! This is one spiffy canteen, let me tell you. We've got a big bottle so we can carry a decent amount of clean water. We've got a nice cover for it so it doesn't get too hot in the summer or too cold in the winter. We've got a spiffy strap so we can carry it easily. And we've secured the cap to the canteen so that we don't lose it. We'll learn more about water in future episodes. Did you hear that? That was the eagle, and that means it's time to talk about Great Americans. And our Great American for today is Miss Sybil Ludington. Sybil Ludington was a young girl who lived in southern New York. Her father was the commander of the local militia. Do you know what a militia is? A militia is a group of armed citizens who respond when people come in to try to do bad things. Sybil and her father learned that the British were about to attack a Continental Army depot in northern Connecticut. Sybil got on her horse named Star and rode all night from town to town, telling the militiamen what the danger was and where it was they were to report. It was a very cold night and very dangerous. The militia all reported to her father, and they were able to respond, and they were able to stop the British from attacking the depot. Sybil Ludington's ride was longer and more dangerous than that of Paul Revere. Sybil Ludington was a T-Rex because she saw what needed to be done and she did it. She put herself at personal risk and helped the Revolutionary War effort so that you and I could be free. So let's give Sybil Ludington a big T-Rex salute. Salute! Well, that's about the end of our time together today. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Remember, the things that we learned together could save your life or the life of someone that you care about. I also want you to remember that the Almighty loves all the little T-Rexes, and He wants you to survive. so that your light doesn't go out of the world. That's especially important when things go bad, because that's when your light is needed the most. The Almighty also wants you to be safe, and so do I. That's why it's best, at least at first, to practice the things that we learn together with the adults in your life. You know, it's a great thing to go to your mom or your dad or your grandma or your grandpa and say, hey, come and get tactical with me. It's a great way to spend some time together, and you can show them that anybody can be a tactical T-Rex. See you next time.
I will never be afraid again. I will keep on fighting till the end. I can walk on water, I can fly. I will keep on fighting till I die.
Tactical T-Rex is a Joel Hine production. Tactical T-Rex is not monetized in any way. Any products or businesses mentioned or shown are because Tactical T-Rex thinks it's cool and or uses it himself. If you do not want your children learning self-sufficiency in times of disaster, the undying love that the Almighty has for them, or how super cool it is to be an American, by all means, don't let them watch it. You're the parents, you know best. Any negative comments will be ignored.